Hi, I'm Emma, and this is my mom, Pauline. We made this little video based on a conversation we've been having around low voter turnout to federal elections in Canada. In the last federal election, a narrow majority government was elected to Parliament by only 24% of the people on the voters list. How is this possible? Well, on top of the 24% that elected the majority government, 36% voted for other parties, and, wait for it, 40%, the biggest piece of the pie, didn't vote at all. This means that 4 out of every 10 people on the voters list in 2011 didn't show up at the polls. That's 7.5 million registered voters, and around 10 million if you count the people who were eligible but did not register, who just stayed home. Fact is, the problem started well before 2011. Voter turnout to federal elections in Canada has been in steady decline since the late 80s, a trend which has caught the interest of many researchers, journalists, and civil societies. According to Statistics Canada, in 2011, 4% of non-voters simply forgot it was election day. Around 8% didn't like any of the candidates. Another 37% said that they couldn't get to the polls for a number of reasons, such as travel, weather, transportation issues, things like that. But a whopping 51% said that they didn't vote because they were too busy or didn't care. Several studies on non-voters found that the most common reason for not voting is apathy. In short, lots of people don't vote because they don't believe that their vote will make a difference. But that could not be farther from the truth. Every vote does make a difference. All votes are exactly equal to all other votes. The power of your vote doesn't depend on how good looking you are, how much money you have, what neighborhood you were born in, what kind of car you drive. All votes are 100% equal to each other. Still, some people say they prefer to harness the power of their vote by withholding it in order to send a message. But this begs the question, how is that message ever going to get delivered if the rest of us have no clear way of knowing why you didn't vote? You may think you're being an activist, but there's no official record that would separate you from the person who forgot or the person who slept through it. You all get lumped into the same statistic. In fact, the Canadian electoral system presumes that no matter how few people actually show up to vote, those voters are representing the will of the entire population. That means that it's presumed that the people who voted in 2011 election were representing the interests and values of non-voters. Should non-voters settle for that? And what if the trend continues and voter turnout continues to decrease? That would mean that non-voters would be surrendering the authority to make these decisions to a smaller and smaller group of people. Is it okay to give this power to 20% of the population? To 10% of the population? To 5%? Political strategists everywhere are paying close attention to this trend in preparation for the next federal election. They know that the lower the voter turnout, the fewer the votes needed to form the government. But take heart, non-voter, because the political strategists love you. They love you almost as much as they love the people who vote for their candidate. I mean, the candidates all want your vote, of course. But if you're not going to vote for them, the next best thing you can do is not vote for anyone else. Should non-voters settle for that? Or any of us, for that matter? Are we thinking maybe nope? Then the solution is simple. Don't settle. Take back the power of your own vote by taking part in the next federal election. Because every ballot is counted, and every vote counts. But no vote is just nothing. So just vote.